It's just you're getting prepared. It's the same thing with business. We talk about succession planning. Succession planning, we also talk about leaving a legacy for the third and fourth generations. How do you do that? You make preparation now so that it could continue. For instance, when you look at franchises like McDonald's or any other big name that you know, they've created something that no matter who the CEO is or who the person in charge is, they've created something that is duplicatable. They do the same thing everywhere. If you go to one McDonald's, you can find 50 miles away, you could find a McDonald's with the same menu simply because they have specific ways of doing business and they have things that they offer, so we are familiar with it. So if I travel to another state, I could still walk into McDonald's and I am familiar with what they have on their menu. So it's the same way preparing ourselves for the worst case scenario can actually get us ready should it happen. And maybe it will never happen. And that's a good thing. But if we do prepare, at least we'll know how to deal with it when it does come. Your mind is impacted, as is your body, when you have trauma. So sometimes when you have trauma and the trauma is new to you, you want to actually give yourself some slack. A lot of times when we have traumatic events, we can't think properly. We can't make good decisions properly, especially if you've lost a loved one or if it's a really traumatic event like an accident where the person died unexpectedly and you didn't have a chance to say goodbye or you didn't know it was going to happen. You basically want to allow yourself time to grieve the process. You want to invite somebody else that you trust to help you make decisions, and you want to give yourself some time to just allow things to run its course. We can actually make bad decisions or even do things that we would not normally do in our right mind. Grief has that effect on us. Trauma has that effect on us. And our world today, we're seeing a lot of things happen. We're seeing earthquakes. In fact, I just saw on Facebook, my sister posted that my country just experienced a 6.5 earthquake. And the island is so small that depending on where the earthquake is, you can actually feel it throughout the entire island. I was there last year, I think, where they had an earthquake that was so long. I didn't think it scared me because I couldn't even understand. Normally, my experience with earthquake is a second or 2 seconds. This was like a good minute. It was going and shaking and going, so it was very traumatic. And we have tornadoes. Just recently, last week, we had tornadoes in Tennessee. We have so many events that has happened all around the world that at some point we will be affected by trauma. So being prepared mentally for it, knowing what to do, making a list of things that you need to have taken care of. For instance, with hurricanes, they tell us to get all our important papers and put it in a plastic bag and seal it up so that no water can get into it. You have to do things like that in order to take care of the things that we've gone through. I don't know where this comes from, but I have had a recurrent dream. I would like to call it a nightmare of a huge, dilapidated white house, and rain is falling. Now, I have no idea where in my psyche or what it is actually portraying, but I've had it several times. I think I have a phobia about old houses or leaking houses, things like that. Maybe that's where it's coming from. But sometimes we have little things that could trigger the bigger things. And so when that happens, you want to be able to write it, to journal about it, so that you can get it out of your system instead of having nightmares about it. My trauma from physical abuse, even though I was safe here when I came, I remember my first instance. I saw a car that was the same color as my abuser, and instantly I started thinking, oh my gosh, he's found me, because I had run away from him. I had another incident of physical violence where I dreamt that he was coming through the window with a knife and things like that. Sometimes when we have unhealed trauma, unaddressed trauma, they can come out in ways, because we're emotional creatures. We have feelings, we have thoughts, we have, in order for us to really become whole, we have to deal with this. And that's why we have counselors. We have people that we could sit and talk to who are trained to deal with things like that. And H. Norman Wright is one of those people. He even talked about his own wife dying, and he had to deal with that. He couldn't even think about it while he was dealing with people with trauma. He had to go home and give himself time to deal with that. It's not because they're counselors that they are not going to have trauma themselves. Everybody has trauma. So, we want to go back to our childhood. A lot of it comes from our childhood. At that time, we have authority figures that we believe what they say, we believe what they do, we emulate them, we try to become like them. And those are the times that we grasp perception and belief systems and cultural belief systems that we carry with us as adults. And for myself, I actually came to a different culture, but I found myself, my physical body was here, but my brain and emotions was in my country. My parents were there, my sisters were there, my family was there. So I basically realized recently that my progress, I have to literally be where I am. I have to live where I am. I have to embrace the culture where I am. I can't live in the culture that I came from because I'm no longer there. Now, when I travel and I go back there, it becomes a little bit like culture shock because things have changed so much. But I still need to, when I come back here, even the language, the accentuation, and I'm sure you can hear my accent as I talk, the accentuation is different over there. And it takes me a couple of weeks to actually be able to get back to understanding and using the accentuation that the accent that I have here in the U.S. In my country, they have a little different accent, so it's easy to fall into it just so that you can be understood and you can understand. But when you travel and you come back to another country, then you have to integrate back into the society. You will probably replay from time and time again for flashbacks and intrusive pictures. For some people, it's like watching a rerun of a movie. But use journaling. If you are interested in joining us for a class, you can email me at TODDY, JADU, TODDYJADOO @gmail.com, and we will get you set up for a class. We're beginning to offer online classes as well as local classes, so you will be able to get help so that you can deal with your creativity. You can expand your creativity and get the life that you want. So thank you again for listening to JADU Lifestyle. We will continue with another episode, and you will be able to hear us through societybitesradio.com, and we're under the learning section, so check us out and share with your friends and work towards getting a life and living it too.